Good afternoon, guys. This is Irene at BrainStorm Acres, and I am going to plant this bed. For those of you who have been following us, you might recognize this as being the bean bed, the fava bean bed. And we decided that the beans had done as much as they were going to do this year, and it was time to remove them and put in some beans that would love the hot weather and produce something more useful than just a place for squash bugs to sit around. So I've dug this up, pulled out any weeds, stirred it up nicely, and it's ready to go. Smoothed it out with a rake. I figured out how far apart I wanted the rows, and I'm going to put one row right here, one row right down the middle, and then one row over here. And that gives us as good a distance as we can. Now, that center one is always a problem, and I've actually sort of debating whether I want to put the bush beans in there or whether I want to go with whole beans. These beds are really nice beds, but they're a little too wide, and it makes it hard to pick things. So you kind of have to sneak in the beds and step around and stuff like that, which I try not to do much, but you really have to. I see a couple of roots didn't come out. The Mexican poppy over here isn't supposed to be there. And my goal at the end of the season is to completely remove it from this bed. It's spread there randomly. What I usually do is plant something in the middle that I don't have to do anything with for a while. So I'll have to think about that. I'm still working on the theory of this bed, even as I'm planting it. Now, before I plant my seeds, I'm going to be planting velour, which is a bush bean. It's a purple fillet bean, which means it's like a haricot bird. It's a straight, thin, tender, premium bean, except this one happens to be purple. Now, before I go to plant these, I am going to inoculate them. Now, I have my little disposable container that I keep just for this purpose, and I have my inoculant. Now, inoculant is not some sort of weird chemical. It is actually biological things. These, I guess, are little bacteria. I usually do this as slurry. They're saying dampen the beans, toss in a little bit of this stuff, and then mix it around. Now, the only problem is I don't know if I'm going to be planting all these. So I'm going to only put in part of them to start with. So I don't want to wind up with a bunch of beans that I don't have a place to put. We're quite windy today, and if I don't nail it down, it's going to float away. So, all right. I'm going to dampen the beans. And then you add this stuff in, and it makes it look like mud. To be honest, just plain mud. I'm keeping it in the shade because this stuff is not supposed to be heated up. Okay. Now we're all ready. It looks gross. But it always looks gross, so that's okay. It just looks muddy. And I'm supposed to plant these every 2 inches. Let's see, I was going to try 2 different things. I brought my little diggy guy here. I was going to see whether he worked better or whether the hori worked better. Sometimes it depends on the soil. We always make sure that we bury nice and deep here because we are so dry naturally. It's really important to get them in and get them well buried. We're experimenting with a bunch of different beans this year that we've never grown, And the reason is we're trying to see if avoiding some of the diseases that we sometimes suffer from will help. And these are all resistant to an assortment of bean viruses and whatnots, because we know we have Colorado potato beetles and cucumber beetles and all kinds of other stuff. So, okay, one row done. Sometimes you can drive yourself crazy by overthinking things. Not that I've ever done that before in my life. And I don't like getting into the beds, but since I didn't have a solution for what was going to get planted in the middle, I'm just going to plant these guys in the whole bed. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just covering this with my hands right now, but I'll be able to tell where I put them, and then I'm going to put a little layer of mulchiness over the top of that. Spacing a little off in a couple of spots here, so we'll fill that in a bit. This stuff has a lower germination rate than what I'm used to, so I'm gonna probably overplant those a little bit. Here we go. Doo-doo. All I'm gonna do is put a little of this on top. That's it, guys. Not hard at all. Now all I have to do is water it. I'm going to set up some permanent irrigation for it, and we're good to go. So, beans, not hard. Simply follow the instructions on the packages. It'll tell you how deep to plant them, how far apart to plant them, how far the rows should be from one another. And if you can't do it exactly the way they tell you to, the world will probably not end. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you are gonna try and plant something yourself. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Don't forget that hit that notification bell. And have a great day. Being attacked by flies. We'll see you next time. Bye. For those whose vessel